Hello everyone, Mars is transiting in the sign of Libra between October 22nd and December the 5th, 2021. Mars gets very sociable when he gets into the sign of Libra. Unfortunately, this time he's got a problem and a confrontation going on with Saturn that will affect everybody. So I have all the details for you on the video. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. And if the video is good for you, give it a thumbs up. Let's begin. The astrology, everybody. Mars enters Libra in a state to cooperate. He's neutral in this sign. Relationships get a boost because everybody wants to talk about their relationship problems. Mars in Libra is like that let's talk moment, that people have in difficult relationships or even good relationships. And so it becomes make or break situation for many people relationship wise. You see, Mars is still Mars. He's in Libra, he's in a neutral position actually. He's neither too good, too bad, he's not strong, he's not weak. He will cooperate, but when he finds obstruction, he can become mighty argumentative. And are there obstructions? Most definitely. You see, Mars is agitating Saturn for change, for cooperation. But Saturn is not having any of it. He's strong in Capricorn, his own sign. He's digging in his heels and saying, no, take it slow. I'm not prepared for this momentous change right now. And equally, Saturn is having a 10th aspect onto Mars. This means that Mars and Saturn are at war with each other during this whole transit. So this means that for everybody, changes which you need to make in cooperation with others, where you need other people to cooperate with you, will be difficult. So where you need agreement, where you need mutual help, where you need people to support you, there's going to be some frustration. Of course, where there is frustration, there will be agitation, worst case violence. And unfortunately, Mars also has an 8th aspect all through the transit onto Rahu. Rahu, of course, in Taurus for some time now. Now, Rahu is very strong here. So this rather neutral and not particularly powerful Mars is agitating two very strong planets, Saturn and Rahu. And he's not going to win the battle against them. So Rahu means lawlessness. And basically expect that people are not listening to authority figures during this time at all. Why? Because the sun, authority, government, king, is weak in Libra. As far as world government is concerned, the sun represents in Libra weakened government which is indecisive, not a good thing for any government. And we're going to have the COP26 climate change conference, aren't we? They're going to be bending over backwards at the beginning of November at this United Nations conference to absolutely agree anything, basically. But will it pan out long term? There's a lot of difficulty here. Shani agitating so strongly, there will be frustration in seeing these things through. Next, the Mahadasha impact of Mars transiting Libra. 3 Mahadashas are most impacted. Mars, of course, but Rahu and Shani also. For Mars Mahadasha people, wow, what a social time for you. It's going to be non-stop interaction, Mars in Libra. Non-stop meeting people, going out, networking, dealing with people. Business issues become very fraught actually, but very crucial business changes made. So it's a very active few weeks if you are in Mars Mahadasha. Watch out for sudden health issues though, because Mars is agitating 8th aspect onto Rahu. If you're running Saturn Mahadasha, try to take it easy for the next 7 weeks. Saturn is in a really agitated and almost not angry. Saturn doesn't get angry like that, but a very agitated and pushy and determined, ambitious mood. You will be in this mood too, but you're coming up against very strong obstacles. Other people are not in a mood to agree with you. So Mars is irritating you. Other people are irritating you. Relationships are irritating you. Mars in Libra means relationships. So you're becoming highly agitated and irritated. You need a chill pill for these next 6 or 7 weeks. Meditation would be a wonderful thing. If you are in Rahu Mahadasha, expect that you will equally be irritated by others because Mars is agitating Rahu by the 8th aspect. Be very careful, take care of yourself, don't get into compromising situations, take care of your health as well. It's a very agitating rather than frustrating things. So you're going to be on the edge of your seat constantly, probably for the next 7 weeks. So don't forget to read, as always, from your Ascendant Lagna, but also from your moon sign to get the deepest interpretation. Let's begin. For Aries moon, Aries Lagna, both, Mars is your Lord of your 8th house. When he goes into the weakest position in your chart, Mahadasha house, the 7th house, be careful. You are feeling feisty, you are feeling agitated, and you really feel like you've got to say what you think to other people. Be careful in regard to relationship situations and workplace. Things could get seriously out of hand. So when your Lord is so weakened, you see, you are acting out of frustration rather than competence. And so you're agitating in your workplace for change, but Saturn isn't changing. So authority figures are really going to be angered and annoyed by you. Hence the 10th aspect coming back onto your Lord. Keeping a low profile at work during these next few weeks is definitely advised. In your relationships as well, there's going to be a lot of contention, explosive arguments, worst case scenario. So once again, hold your cool. Listen to others more. You may learn something that you actually need to know. Watch your health at this time, because Mars is your Lord and your 8th Lord, and aspecting 1st house could give you stress-related problems and even accidents. The aspect of Mars onto the 2nd house is really crucial. This is a house of your food and your diet, and Rahu is here. There could be food poisoning, eating not good things for yourself. So watch a new diet. It might not agree with you. Don't take in poisonous substances now, such as alcohol, drugs, etc. If you can avoid it, it's not going to help you. Watch your speech. This is a house of speech. Rahu makes for impulsive, explosive speech when he is aspected by Mars. So you may say things that you regret. There's so much tension with your family now. It's easy to go over the top. Stay cautious and calm. If you could ever find time for meditation, this is the month you definitely need it. Don't forget, when Mars moves into Scorpio in December, much more power and control comes back to you. For Taurus moon and Taurus Lagna, Mars, Lord of your 7th and your 12th house, in your 6th house is actually quite favourable. Malefics do well in these Dustana houses by transit, particularly from the moon. You can expect that you will get on top of long-standing health issues now. You will finally get to grips with what medication you need. You will take the right supplements, whatever it is. You will find ease from long-standing problems. At the same time, you're feeling more active to deal with outstanding factors in your life. Even legal issues you win through at this time. Because of Mars' aspect on his own house, Aries, 12th house, you may actually have to attend hospitals or clinics at this time. But once again, any sudden health problem will be resolved successfully. If you have pets, small animals ruled by this house, Mars shows issues for them. But once again, these are resolved successfully. For some of you, it may be spouse who's having health problems, business partners having issues, whatever it is, they are quickly resolved. So you are called upon to help people, to be there for people in need also during this time. So it's a very busy 6-7 weeks for you, but a very productive one. It's productive also for your education. If you are in higher education, there are some frustrations now and some barriers. Once again, don't lose heart. You are going to get on top of these problems and resolve them. Have a bit of patience here. It's definitely going to happen. The Mars aspect on the 12th house shows, though, it's not a good time for travel. If you can avoid long distance or even short distance travel now, that would be the best. Gemini moon, Gemini Lagna, Mars is always a bit tricky for you because he rules the 11th house of your chart as well as the 6th house. So he brings conflicts, sometimes litigation issues into your life. He's gone into the 5th house. The conflicts are now with children, or children are having health issues. Children are having some form of difficulty which is causing them a great deal of stress, and you are called in to deal with these. If you are a teacher or anybody working with younger people, it's a frantic time when there's so much going on and you are required to put up with a lot of difficulty because you are being called to be a helpmate to these youngsters. Because Mars brings you into conflict with others, though, ruler of your sixth, opposing network circle shows that there's quite a bit of contention going on with your friendship circles during these next 6-7 weeks. Friends are having problems and you are called in to help resolve them or to be involved in them. Try to stay outside of all friendship network problems now. It's only going to draw you into more contention. Now, this is a house of speculative gain and speculative business. Be really careful now, because Mars having this aspect on Shani in the 8th house of finances shows that there could be great loss if you take sudden actions or sudden risk at this time. Be very careful. It's not a good time for speculation financially. Long distance travel could become difficult for you because Mars aspects Rahu in your 12th house. And this aspect of Mars to Rahu brings you many worries at this time. A lot of tension, fears, doubts, frustrations. Hold tight. Take refuge in your friends as well as contentions with your friend. By the way, Mars aspecting Aries in this way could actually bring you new friends into your life who could be interesting companions. That's the possible favorable thing here. But you know what you're waiting for is for Mars to go into Scorpio in a strong house, in a strong sign. He will resolve so many conflicts, fears and doubts in your life, and that's coming up in December. For Cancer Moon, Cancer Lagna, Mars in the 4th house of your chart. Domestic issues, home issues, issues with your mother, issues with everybody in your domestic space, and for many of you, moving or big renovations happening on the home front. There's quite a lot of stress also because of conflicts with your spouse at this time. You've just come to some good accommodation, many of you, because of Saturn, Jupiter in this house now. Jupiter is such a favorable planet for you and is fortunately in the 7th house. But this domestic tension is going to stress things out. Sudden domestic changes are putting so much pressure on your relationship. Patience is needed at all time. And the stress is on your workplace as well. The workplace is also full of tension for you. Many of you may even be changing jobs at this time, and it's not an easy time to do so. Mars aspecting 10th house means that the actual workplace setup is not convivial to you. So you could be having difficulty settling into a new job, or your workspace at work may be compromised in some way. And you may also find that you are actually working from home more than you did before, bringing you into conflict with your spouse or to other people. So the work-home balance is seriously disrupted. Finally, Mars has an 8th aspect, as I've shown you, onto Rahu, now very agitating in your 11th house of co-workers and network circles. There's some agitation there, some ill at ease, even serious quarrel with a close friend or co-worker. You're feeling very hemmed in, very misunderstood at this time, but incredibly ambitious. Hold fire. Mars cannot give you concrete results in this 4th house of your chart. It's time for patience. Leo Moon, Leo Lagna, you're going to be loving this transit. It's going to be so enjoyable for you. Mars is so well placed in the 3rd house of the chart, particularly from your moon, but also from your Lagna. You're going to feel invigorated, full of confidence. Not that you are ever lacking, but sometimes you do have these down phases. So make the most of the fact that your Yoga Karaka planet is so well placed on pushing you forward. You have great confidence to speak your mind. When you communicate with others in any way, on the internet, in conferences, in presentations, whatever you do in your work, even communicating with your siblings or with your neighbors, everybody, you do it with confidence and determination, and people look to you with respect, even awe. So it's a great time to get out there and present everybody with your ideas. You make a great impression. It's a good time for you to confront legal issues which have been long-standing. You can come out on top of them, most definitely. Mars aspecting the 6th house here, where Shani is already transiting. Health issues are probably coming up again, but this time you will get the correct advice and you will take the correct medical procedure, leading to a lessening of these concerns. Mars aspect on the 7th house from itself, higher education and studies, philosophy, etc. go very well. Any of you starting any new skill course or course of study now, it will be tremendously helpful to you long term. You will do very well mastering skills really quickly at this time. Any educational, higher educational course gets better and better for you. You get amazing results at this time. The only one downside might be that Mars' 8th aspect onto Rahu, currently in your 10th house, means that you might speak out of turn. Your confidence is so strong that you may agitate superiors, bosses, and this could lead to something difficult for you long term. It probably won't impact you as long as Mars is here, but in December when he's moved, you might see repercussions of these. So although you're feeling confident, although you're making great impressions on people, be careful not to speak out of turn. Being respectful to your superiors, if you have them, is definitely a good thing. For Virgo, Moon and Lagna, Mars moving now into the 2nd house of your chart brings your stress level up a little bit now. There's so much to sort out in your financial and family circles. First of all, financially, there's a lot of stress because of debts, because of money owed, because of sorting out pensions, investments, and so on. But you will sort this out because you always do in a very practical and immediate way. So a lot of energy going into sorting out finances during this next 7 weeks, but also family issues, sudden family quarrels, family sickness maybe, family issues which are putting stress onto you will happen in these next few weeks. Maybe expenses or concern in regard to children if you have them at this time, but Jupiter still transiting in this house for most of this Mars transit will help you with this. The most important thing is those of you in education, because Mars aspecting the 5th house of knowledge and the 9th house of higher education, you are trying to make an important decision about your financial investment in your education. However, because Mars has a mutual aspect I've shown you to Saturn in the 5th house and from Saturn to Mars, you won't be able to come to any satisfactory conclusion yet. Wait until Mars gets strong in the 3rd house of your chart from December. Then you will definitely make the right decision in regard to education. Also, Mars agitating Rahu in this 9th house shows that something isn't quite what it should be. Maybe you don't know what the course will be, you've got the wrong idea about it. Rahu shows some real confusion is happening here, which can only be sorted out once Mars gets into Scorpio and conjuncts with K2. Then you will make the absolute right decision. Now, Mars in this house can make your diet go a little bit haywire. Watch what you're eating. Your digestion becomes very sensitive at this time. There may be all sorts of issues with eating foods that are not healthy for you, overeating, undereating, all of those things. And watch your speech. It's going to have a quite strong effect on your near and dearest and on your family at this time. Libra Moon and Libra Lagna, Mars coming into the 1st house of your chart is good for you, both for Moon and Lagna. It gives you confidence, assertiveness, and helps you put your ideas across to others. But it doesn't exactly make you more decisive because you always have that toing and throwing going on. It's always hard for you to come to a decision. But Mars aspecting 7th house shows a lot of input, as he is your 7th lord, from your spouse. So it could actually, for many of you, bring you closer to your spouse, but expect a little bit of contention in that process. You've all been making big changes on the home front, some of you even moving recently, and now it's all about settling in. It's all about all of the loose ends to be tied up. Shani stays in the 4th house. From your moon, it's still a Shani Daya. So family matters are not letting up. There's so much pressure on you from family members, and you and your partner are going to have a lot of contention around some new issues coming up this month. But on the whole, Mars will give you the enormous strength and ability to deal with these problems immediately. The aspect of Shani coming back onto Mars, though, is the problem. You think you've dealt with them, but other people who you live with potentially are not going through a very easy time now, basically, particularly older members. Saturn represents older members of your family, so there may be some issues there that you have to deal with. The only minus I would say is watch for impulsive behavior, because of course Mars aspecting Rahu in the 8th house is going to incline you to sudden actions that may, for some of you, result in mishaps, accidents, etc. So pace yourself, take it easy, but you will accomplish a great deal in the next 7 weeks. For Scorpio Moon, Scorpio Lagna, Mars is your Lord of your 6th house. Going into the 12th house, this is a very tricky 6 or 7 weeks for you now. You've got to take it easy, because you're going to be coming out fighting against really things that don't need to be fought against. What's happening is when your Lord goes into the 12th house, unnecessary fears, phobias, anxieties come to the surface. You're normally a very self-contained person, but all of a sudden you're beginning to worry excessively. Some of you may have many sleepless nights. Some of you may even have nightmares. Mars in the 12th inclines to this, being your Lord and Lord of the 6th house. So watch your health. De-stress as much as you can. Take time for study, spiritual pursuits, meditation. All of these things can help you. Trouble is, you are involving yourself in unnecessary conflict at this time. Try to hold back on this. Wait until December the 5th, when Mars goes into your own sign. Then you will see the light of day. You will see that half of the things you are worried about now are actually not a problem at all. Particularly applies to intimate spousal relationships, even close friendships, and certainly business partnerships. There's a lack of openness between you at the moment. There's some fears in your mind that need to be talked about, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be the optimal time now. Rahu 7th house, having this impact from Mars, is actually becoming agitated. So it's really a time when it's difficult to get on the same wavelength as your spouse. In addition, there's a really restless factor to Mars being in the 12th house. You feel like getting away from it all, even going into foreign lands, but it won't be effective for you because Mars is having a 4th aspect onto Saturn in the house of travel. There would be delays, agitation, all sorts of difficulties trying to get away now, and it wouldn't give you that restful retreat you are looking for. For some of you, these stresses are coming directly from your siblings now, because Shani is aspecting from this house onto Mars in the 12th house. Also may be coming from your work colleagues as well. There may be health issues coming up, as I say, which need immediate attention. One of the best ways to deal with this Mars 12th house, though, is to put your effort into spiritual pursuits. Put your effort into metaphysical study. You will get tremendous insights at this time, and your spiritual life will definitely benefit. Sagittarius, Moon and Lagna, Mars is Lord of your 5th and your 12th. Going into your 11th house, it's an excellent transit for you. Really strong transit. Why? Because first of all, 12th Lord is 12th to himself. He will reduce expenses. So amazing opportunities are opening up to many of you at this time for increase of income. If you are looking for new employment, extra work, you're very likely to find it now. Often unexpected, because Mars is your 5th house Lord, giving unexpected gain. If you're involved in any litigation or legal affairs right now, Mars aspecting Rahu could give some unexpected complications, but don't worry, they will unravel and turn out to be blessings in disguise, because Rahu always gives you success in these areas in this 6th house transit, and Mars will not upset this in any way. Many of you, difficult health issues will improve tremendously. Mars having aspect on Rahu in the 6th house is good. You see, Mars is your 5th house Lord. He is actually Lord of the house that takes away health issues, and he's now aspecting Rahu, favorable for sudden resolution of long-standing health issues. The only major concern with this transit for you, Sagittarius, is that Mars is having a 4th aspect on Saturn in the house of finances and family affairs. There are long-standing issues, family problems that are still causing you stress and agitation. don't let this overwhelm you at this time. Increase in income is going to help some of these long-standing issues. And most of all, don't get yourself into any arguments at this time. You are getting tremendous help from your network circles. They are widening, and your social life is also extremely active and favorable. By the way, if you are interested in romantic encounters, looking for a new relationship, Mars, Lord of your 5th house, in the 11th house, may well bring that to your doors during this transit. Capricorn, Moon and Lagna Mars in the 10th house of your chart puts you in a workaholic mood, to put it lightly. Mars is having stress aspect with Shani, your Lord, as I've just shown you. So you are at risk, I would say, of completely exhausting yourself in the next 7 weeks. Please be cautious. Why is it happening? Probably because you've got a fear of lack of income or loss of ongoing income. Mars is the Lord of your 11th house, and going behind himself into your 10th house, he shows that you are fearful of your future wages. You are not sure if it's going to be the right job for you to continue in long term. So you're looking madly around for a new opportunity, or stressing about your current job and putting so much effort into improving that situation. But the trouble is that Mars is having a conflicting aspect to Saturn, your Lord, in the 1st house of your chart. This means that you're getting frustrated by the lack of openings and opportunities, and you're even coming down hard on yourself. Saturn is you, and it's in your 1st house, so you're being highly critical of yourself, not believing in yourself. Low self-esteem even could be behind this manic workaholic mood. And you may think, well, you've actually got no choice because there's a lot of pressure on you at work, but you probably do have some choice if you think about it. You may feel under a lot of pressure or stress from your work colleagues as well at this time. Mars is your 11th house Lord, represents them as well. So tension, quarrels, arguments in the workplace with your colleagues and even with your superiors is very likely at this time, and you should do everything you can to avoid these situations. But positive openings are there for you in this transit in relation to your home life. Mars aspecting the 4th house of your chart is excellent. This is Mars's own home. So home deals, property deals, moving home, finding a new apartment, whatever it is that you want to make changes with in your home environment, Mars will help you make excellent changes now. Mars aspect onto Rahu in the 5th house of your chart may affect children if you have them. There may be sudden illnesses, sudden worries about them. But because this Mars aspect is a temporary factor, only lasting until the 5th of December, these will be quickly resolved. Similarly, education courses, there may be curveballs coming your way, but once again, they will not disturb your long-term success. Aquarius, Moon and Lagna Mars, Lord of your 10th and your 3rd house, often brings you into difficult confrontations, and this transit is definitely going to do that. But you've got itchy feet at the moment. Mars in the 9th house of your chart makes you want to get away from it all, makes you want to travel. At the very least, you want to get into intellectual escape, doing some study course, finding some new philosophy to explore. You are keen to escape from a frustrating situation, particularly domestically. However, if you do travel, particularly into distant lands, you're going to find frustration because Saturn is having this difficult aspect onto Mars. Mars aspecting Saturn, as I've shown you, one of frustration. So you may not get the relaxing escape you are actually seeking. There's a war of ideas going on as well, maybe with your father, maybe with your father's family, maybe with your siblings also, and for some of you even difficulties with your mother and your mother's family. It's like everybody that you are related to is on a different plane to yourself at this moment in time, because this is your planet of ego and idealism as well. So many of you may be involved in some political cause, idealistic or a religious cause, and it's taking up almost every ounce of your energy during these next weeks. But perhaps the biggest factor of this transit for Aquarius will be the aspect of Mars on Rahu in your 4th house. For some time now, Rahu in your 4th house has been taking you into a whole new sphere domestically. Many of you have moved. Many of you have completely renovated, changed your home. And Mars aspecting in this very strong 8th aspect now could bring a whole curveball into your domestic situation. Now, this will vary according to your own individual circumstances, but Mars aspecting Rahu means that suddenly something is changing. Plans you've had are not agreeable to other people. There could be issue with your mother, with her health, with your mother's family. There could be issues with any family members that throw many of your new domestic plans into complete disarray. But don't worry, it's not as long term as you think. Mars is only aspecting Rahu until December the 5th. And so more than likely, when Mars goes up into your 10th house, strongly aspecting the 4th house, you will get resolution of any domestic difficulties at that time. For Pisces Moon and Pisces Lagna, Mars is the lord of your 9th house. He's quite a fortunate planet for you, taking you actually into philosophical belief systems and great mystical understandings very often. But he's the lord also of your 2nd house, so he's always about what makes you feel secure in life. Going through the 8th house, there's going to be a period of insecurity. What's happening is you're having tension between what you want to do in life and what is possible to you at this moment. More than that, all sorts of financial difficulties, family affairs, legacies, wills, inheritances that may be ongoing problems, but also your own savings and finances, even investments are coming up for scrutiny now. Mars is putting energy into these to help to make you feel more secure. So you're putting energy into sorting out finances, which is good. But unfortunately, this time it's not actually making you feel secure. It's making you worrisome and feeling insecure. Why is it happening? Because Mars's aspect is on Shani. Shani is the lord of your 12th house. Worries, phobias, fears are coming to the fore now about your future because the 11th house is so future focused. So you are worried about your future. You're putting excessive fear into things that you really don't need to be worrying about right now. Try to focus on the here and now. It will be much easier to get through the next 6 weeks if you do this. If you're involved in any business situation, be really cautious about making dramatic changes because Mars is going to push you into a corner financially, thinking that you have to almost cut all of your losses. Try not to do so just yet. Saturn is agitating Mars from the 11th house and Mars is agitating Saturn. So if you've got people working for you, they are not happy and you are not happy with them either. Basically, it's a no-win situation. If you can let things ride a little bit when Mars is in own house, in your 9th house, solutions to these difficult business problems will probably come. That will be after December the 5th. Finally, be careful with your health at this time. Mars is the lord of your 2nd house of sustenance, what you eat and how you maintain your physical body. But going into the 7th house away from his own home, you're not looking after yourself properly. You're not eating properly and you're basically putting your health at risk. So try to take some note of this. Otherwise, you could have difficult issues. In summary then, it's a few weeks when you must spend time on yourself, on your own development, both physically, taking care of your health, and metaphysically, taking care of your mental state and your spiritual well-being. Deep study, meditation, and occult knowledge is of great use to you now. Hope the readings were good for you, everybody, and you got understanding of the current transits. Don't forget to sub below if you're new to my channel. Goodbye for now, and God bless everyone.